Alright folks, hello. This is lesson 1.07 for fine art. Artworks invite us to respond, criticize, and form opinions. On its own, a work of art is just a collection of materials. It means something or represents ideas to us only when we apply our own thoughts and experience to organize the facts that the work represents. So the goal of this lesson is to analyze a work of art, know how to discuss works of art from various perspectives, including historical, aesthetic, which is a fancy way of saying beauty, and critical. And you also want to articulate an aesthetic judgment about an artwork. As you read through the lesson, use the student guide to take notes or just follow along with me. Art criticism. Art criticism is an organized approach to viewing, thinking about, and judging works of art based on the elements of art and the principles of design. We analyze artwork to help us organize our thoughts, gain information, and form opinions about them. The man who painted Four Dancers, Edgar Degas, lived during the 19th century and early 20th century. Photography was an artistic medium emerged during Degas' lifetime. The process was new and unpredictable. Often, photographers had to crop their photographs because the image they captured on a negative was different from the image that they saw. Though the camera viewfinder, Degas was inspired by a cropping process and used it in his paintings. An art critic analyzing Degas' works would take such an influence into consideration. So here is the big idea. We approach works of art from various perspectives, including historical, aesthetical, and critical. And that's his piece of artwork there. Critical analysis, a four-step process. Art historians analyze art in many ways, whether the work is a sculpture, a painting, or other medium. A medium is a type of art form. Medium can be sculpture, it could be painting, it could be photograph, it could be writing. It's just a medium. Here we will use an organized four-step process, starting with the simplest level of thinking and moving to the highest. Follow the steps of description, analysis, interpretation, and evaluation. Help us organize our thoughts and gain a deeper understanding and appreciation of artwork. Analyzing artworks can help us make educated statements about them. You should know, however, that not everyone will agree with your critical analysis of artwork. Individuals bring their own unique experiences and knowledge to the process. You may discover that those differences of opinion add a certain excitement to doing your own analysis of works and art. So let's review the elements of art and the principles of design. They are the building blocks of your art criticism vocabulary. When Leonardo Bernini sculpted David, he chose a very different presentation from that of Renaissance artists who, more than 100 years earlier, had portrayed the biblical youth standing motionless moments before his encounter with Goliath. Art critics today continue to analyze Bernini's David to gain a deeper understanding and appreciation of the work. Okay, let's look at the first one, description. The first step in the critically analyzing art is to describe what you see. It's not the time to declare that you like or don't like the painting. So if we look at Nighthawks by Edward Hopper, this painting right here, Edward Hopper, you could describe the colors, shapes, and the values, the people and what they're doing, the buildings and location, and the time and day. What are some of the elements in the painting? Well, the answer would be what else you could describe. Nighthawk, Edward Hopper, American, 1982-1967, oil on canvas. So we could roll over. We have people at the counter. He uses kind of subdued, kind of soft or dull colors. And that's like our description. We're kind of taking a look at it. Now the second step is analysis. This next step in art criticism is to analyze the artwork. Think about how the artist organized the elements of art using the principles of design. Study the work closely to discover its structure and organization and how the parts work together. Try to figure out the relationship among any figures in the artwork. Nighthawk has a distinct composition. How did Hopper create unity? How did he create contrast? How did he create emphasis? Where does he want your eye to focus? What are the people and what is their relationship? To view the larger version of this painting, click on the lesson gallery at the bottom of the screen. Oh, we don't necessarily. Oh, but where is that painting? That's interesting. Interesting. So let's go ahead and look at this one. So where does let's go to the first one here. How does Hopper create unity? Well, one way that Hopper creates unity is by repeating rectangular shapes. You see all these rectangles here? And horizontal, vertical, and diagonal lines throughout the composition. So this has a lot of geometry, a lot of lines. Where does Hopper place the emphasis? Well, where does he want you to focus? What do you think? Where are you focusing? Well, think about it. Where do your eyes go with this painting? Well, on the way that Hopper creates emphasis is by placing all the figures on the right side of the painting, surrounding them with light values of the diner lights, and giving the rest of the painting darker, duller values. The light and the dark values next to one another, and the use of complementary reds and greens creates emphasis, contrast, and tension. Who are the people and what do you think their relationship is? Well, three of the people are customers, and the fourth is an employee. The couple sitting together could be married or on a date, but there aren't enough clues to know for sure. Now, the third is interpretation. Now that we've shared our interpretation of what you think the artist is saying, the message, idea, or the mood convey, how does the artwork make you think or feel? Describe expressive qualities like humor, ugliness, serenity, and how the artist achieved them based on what you discovered through your description and analysis. Does the artwork relate to things you've experienced in your life or worldly events and issues? Your interpretation is your opinion, but you should be able to articulate or explain why you feel the way you do. What does the Nighthawk say to you? How does it make you feel? You might say that the position of the figures create a sense of loneliness. It could be. No one is looking directly at anyone else, and the figures on the left appear to be particularly isolated. No signs of life are visible other than the four figures. There's also a harsh contrast in the value of the interior. And one interpretation of Nighthawk may be that it depicts urban isolation. And the last step is evaluation. The final step in art criticism is to evaluate or judge the work. Express your opinion about the success or failure of the artwork. To say, it's nice, I like it, is not really an evaluation. State the artwork's value to you, or perhaps its significance to society. After you've described, analyzed, and interpreted the artwork, chances are that you considered many factors and thoughts about how they relate to your opinions. How would you convince someone that Nighthawk succeeded as a painting? Support your opinion with your observation. So what is your opinion? Do you think this is a successful painting? Not everyone is a fan of Everett Hopper. Peter Scheidel, art critic of the New York Magazine, had this to say about Hopper's painting. Their drawing is graceless, their colors are accurate, and their brushwork numb. Art baroque, they are the same thing when looked up close and when seen afar. How would you respond to this elevation? Do you agree and disagree? I disagree. I think the way this painting is set up what I see and the characters and the way they use lines, I think it is a very impactful painting, and it says a lot about kind of how when we are in restaurants, how we are lonely amongst many. So I actually disagree. The aesthetics are, have you ever seen an artwork in a museum that made you say, that's not art? I could do that. Well, aesthetics or the philosophy art can help you think about those responses. And consider some basic questions people ask about art. What is a work of art? What is beauty? And what makes a work of art different than ordinary objects? Aesthetics helps us understand art in a broad and fundamental way. It can include the study of an art form of all cultures. Some people believe, for example, that art should imitate reality and photographic inaccuracy. How then do we respond? Oh. So there are kinds of questions that aesthetics inquiry helps us think about. Keep in mind there are no concrete answers. So when we look at aesthetics, there's no real right or wrong answer. Um, so what do we value in art? Consider the following aesthetic questions. Which artwork is more valuable? One with a strong message that reflects the artist's beliefs, or one that looks highly representational and reflects technical skill? The Byzantine artist who painted Madonna and the child on a curved throne used iconography to create an artwork with a religious message. In contrast, John Vermeer's technical skills as kitchen maid to create a convincing interior with a realistic quality of light and three-dimensional form. If we study the large versions of these paintings in the lesson gallery, then we'll answer the questions to the right. So let's look at the lesson gallery. There's the kitchen maid. There's the four dancers. David, Nighthawks, Estate, which is a totally different kind of art, and Madonna. Okay, so which artwork is more valuable? The one with a strong message that reflects the artist's beliefs, or the one that holds highly representational and reflects technical skills? Some would say the Madonna and the Child on a curved throne is more valuable because it depicts the Holy Mother and the Child, and the kitchen maid shows a common woman. One might say that the painting is far superior in a dramatic play in light and shadow here. So it just kind of depends. So let's review what we've learned. And I might not be great at this either, but we'll just do it together. So for the 4 steps of analyzing art and criticizing or critiquing art is describe, analyze, interpret, and evaluate. So describe is to detail what you see. To analyze is to let's see, to evaluate is, and sometimes the best for me is just to clear them, check, show me. Describes is detail what you see. To analyze is to look how the work is organized using the principles of design. Interpret is to state what you think the artist meant and how it means to you. And evaluate is to give your personal opinion of why you think the artwork is successful or not. Alright, and that's it. Let's go on and take the quiz. Or if you're an educator, I hope you went and took the quiz as you went. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.